Okay, Irene, could we get your question?
Hi, Ian. Thanks for your time. My question is more regarding like developing a project that has no, let's say, like a direct reference. So when you're developing a project that's somehow pioneer in certain area. In my case, I come from film and I work with animation and I want to go through like cross media and interactivity. Uh, what would be like your best advice, like regarding planning and so on? Because it's like a field when you have to go like in a trial and error method somehow. Like sometimes some things work and so on, but when you're planning and funding and prototyping, like based on your experience, what would be like the best thing you could suggest?
Well, there's quite a big difference between film and game. One is linear entertainment, the other is non-linear entertainment. One, the former is entertainment in which the director controls the action. The latter is entertainment in which the player or consumer directs the action. So the approach to making them is hugely different and requires completely different skill sets. When you're building a game, you're building a design which sits on top of a real-time engine or non-real-time engine that allows you to go anywhere within inside the world that you've created. This world is not on rails, particularly. Some games are on rails, but most of them allow you to explore that world wherever you wish. And so it's the skill sets of artists, animators, of building 3D models. I would say and argue that it is sometimes more challenging than making a movie. Having said that, you can see the convergence between the two industries, the way the special effects, the visual effects of films like Gravity, it's almost an interactive experience. It's certainly building the same sort of models, 3D models, and animating them, but not so much in real time, which you do have inside a game. So I think the learnings of making a game are not as apparently obvious as they are as making a film. So I would, of course, recommend going to some university or further education establishment to understand what and how to make a game, because if you're making a big interactive cinematic experience like a console game, that is quite some skill set you need to acquire.
Okay, thank you.
Elena, could we have your question, please?
Hello? Yes. Hi Ian, thanks for your time. I come from so I'm working at a company at the moment who does DIY digital kits. So they teach you how to solder and program and create technology for yourself. And I heard in some of your interviews you said that you want people to be digital makers and digital users, and being able to write instead of just read.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, running parallel to the initiatives to get children into coding that government is putting funding into, do you feel like there should be programs to get older people into coding, like 18 plus, so everybody's up to the same standard?
I think everybody should have the ability to learn how to code. Not everyone is going to become a coder, but you have to have an understanding how code works in this world as we become exponentially more reliant on technology. As you quite rightly say, we have to move from being consumers of technology to creators of technology. So even old people need to have some sort of basic digital literacy to be able to access the internet and perhaps do some input into that world rather than just being consumers of it. So any initiative that backs people of any age, I would see as a positive thing. But we have to start with school children, because they are the future. And everything else, I guess, is probably a luxury. But for us as a country to be able to have digital manufacturing, we are a very creative nation. Look at our film, our fashion, our music, our games, our design, our architecture. And we have to twin that with knowledge of high technology in the creative sense rather than the consumption sense. So to get kids coding, I think is vital. It's also a great equalizer. You know, the analog world is full of winners and losers already. Completely equal opportunities available in digital. Any person in the most disadvantaged area, anywhere on the planet, could become the next Mark Zuckerberg. So we need to inspire them to become problem solvers, great communicators, not being afraid of failure, being able to deal with all what is going to be thrown to them in a world which is so different than we recognize it today. Children particularly bombarded by data. They're using 3 or 4 screens to consume data at a rate I could never imagine myself. And so they have to be able to process this data. So I think a lot of old ways of teaching children is largely irrelevant, and children are born into the internet. So I think it's imperative that we match their way of working naturally, totally connected, sharing everything in the way they actually learn. And to do that through coding or computational thinking or collaboration and inspiring creativity in them is key. For the 18-year-olds, of course, this applies as well. So if they can't get onto a course, there's plenty of online resources. You can self-teach yourself coding. You can go to numerous code clubs, Code Dojo, Code Club, Code Academy. You can learn free from MIT, from the Khan Academy. There's code.org.uk where you can learn code for an hour in a day. And once you get to understand how code works, I think you'll be able to operate in the digital world in which they find themselves. So clearly, yes, everybody should have these skills, but for me, it's important that the children of tomorrow get access to this sooner rather than later.
Well, thank you very much. That was good.